Many years ago, I looked at how PlayStation games fared when played on the PS3 and PS2. The results were very interesting, and using my power discs, the PS3 was sharper, although interlaced content suffered with no way to de-interlace it using the PlayStation 3. I wanted to make an updated video on the subject. To do this, the PlayStation 3 is using HDMI at 1080p video output, whereas the PlayStation 2 is using the OSSC with RGB SCART cables at line 4x or 960p mode. For interlaced content, the PS2 is using my pass-through mode, so my OBS recorder will de-interlace it using the Yardif 2x setting. The PlayStation 3 needs an HDMI splitter in order for the console to display on my capture card. Let's begin. We begin with Resident Evil 2. On PS3, this game is very sharp in 1080p, and while this spells bad news for the pre-rendered background, it still blends in well enough, and I enjoyed playing this on my PlayStation 3. Using the PS2 and the OSSC at line 4x, the game is still sharp, although slightly less so. This is apparent when the two are side by side. Mind you, the difference isn't earth-shattering, and the OSSC can use the line 5x mode, which takes the image up a notch. A good start for the PlayStation 3. Street Fighter Alpha 3 has the same tendencies as Resident Evil 2. The PS3 is sharper, and I did enjoy once again trying this game on the PlayStation 3. It looks good! So does the PlayStation 2 using the OSSC's Line 4X mode. Goes to show Sony did a great job with the PS1 emulation on PS3. Driver 2 was interesting. This game uses the PlayStation's high-res mode for the menus and 240p or 288p for the gameplay. The menus on PlayStation 3 were messed up, as you can see. Not so for the PlayStation 2. When you play the game, the PlayStation 3 nudges ahead with its sharper graphics, but the PlayStation 2 is not exactly a blurfest either. This shows the PS3 is great, but not perfect. Speaking of high-res PlayStation games, Tekken 3 is one of the best out there. Sadly, this is where the PlayStation 3 falls apart. See all the coming artifacts as characters move? This is what happens when interlaced video is not treated in some way. Nothing I tried fixed this, not even using interlaced video output of 576i, which is very odd, and I wonder why Sony never fixed this aspect of the PlayStation video output. On my PlayStation 2, I put the OSSC in pass-through mode for 576i output and de-interlaced it using OBS. It is not perfect, but considering the alternatives, this is a better showing. This means all high-res games on PlayStation will work better on the PlayStation 2, as you can control how the de-interlacing works, whereas the PS3 cannot do this. I bet there's a way to patch the PlayStation 3 and fix this problem for good. Toca World Touring Cars, or Jad and Labonte Stock Car Racing in the United States, is a fantastic game and one which has 16:9 support. The game looks great on both platforms, and the widescreen mode also does nicely on the two systems. The PS3 is sharper as to be expected by now, but the PS2 is not far behind. I'll let the rest of the games I tried play out in a montage, and most importantly, listen to the sound output of the two platforms. Is there a difference? I'll see you at the end. There you go folks, an updated look at PlayStation games running on both a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3. The PS3 was definitely sharper, and it was a nice experience to see 1080p PS1 games, although the sound quality was a little bit different. The PS2 was as good as expected and had less image errors compared to the PlayStation 3. It also handled PlayStation high-res games like a champion. Despite some shortcomings, the PlayStation 3 is a great way to experience PlayStation games, and with some modding, it could be even better. What do you folks think of the results? Would you use a PlayStation 3 to play PlayStation games? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you soon.